following is an exclusive presentation of RNN.
Live, local, and late breaking, this is RNN News, live from Raceland Worthington High School.
Good afternoon, this is RNN. I'm Isabel.
And I'm Presley.
We begin with today's top story as a major mobile and internet outage left thousands of Verizon customers across the country disconnected this week. The outage affected users in several major metropolitan areas, including New York, Boston, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., leaving many phones stuck in SOS or emergency calls only mode. Verizon says a software glitch was to blame and that a service has been since restored. Though many users expressed frustration about the lack of updates during this disruption, industry analysts warn the incident highlights how vulnerable communication systems have become when so few companies control so much of the network infrastructure.
Amazon Web Services, better known as AWS, suffered a major failure that caused widespread internet disruption worldwide. The outage originated in the company's U.S. East 1 region and knocked offline major platforms including Fortnite, Snapchat, and Reddit for several hours. Amazon says the issue stemmed from a DNS resolution error within its internal cloud network and has since been fully resolved. The outage has renewed questions about the global dependence on a handful of cloud providers, with experts warning that even brief disruptions can ripple across the entire digital economy.
The U.S. government shutdown has stretched into its 22nd day, becoming one of the longest funding lapses in modern history. The Senate is preparing for another vote on a short-term spending plan, but both parties remain deadlocked over proposed health care and border security provisions. The shutdown has furloughed tens of thousands of federal workers and stalled numerous public programs from the IRS to the National Park Service. Economists say each passing day increases the economic toll, while every day Americans feel the pinch in slower services and delayed paychecks.
As the shutdown stretches on, the National Nuclear Security Administration, which oversees America's nuclear weapons stockpile and vital propulsion systems, is preparing to furlough around 1,400 employees, roughly 80% of its workforce. With only about 375 essential staff remaining, key modernization and non-proliferation programs will halt. Pentagon officials warn the disruptions raise serious national security concerns and underscore how the funding stalemate is rippling into critical defense operations.
Over to Kentucky news as Governor Andy Beshear has announced a $9.1 million emergency funding allocation to sustain meal delivery and senior nutrition programs across the state. The funds come as a federal pandemic relief expires, threatening essential services for thousands of elderly Kentuckians. Officials say the stopgap will keep Meals on Wheels and community nutrition centers operating through the end of the year, but long-term funding still depends on upcoming legislation negotiations. Advocates call the move a lifeline, noting that 1 in 8 seniors in Kentucky rely on these services for daily nutrition.
Tragedy struck Casey County early Tuesday when a van collided with a horse-drawn buggy along Highway 127. The crash claimed the life of a 19-year-old Amish man who was driving the buggy and left one child in the van injured. Local authorities say low visibility and morning traffic may have played a role. Members of the Amish community are calling for increased signage and safety measures on rural roads where buggies and motor vehicles frequently share narrow lanes. Officials hope the tragedy raises awareness about Kentucky's rural traffic safety challenges.
Pop superstar Taylor Swift has announced 2 major projects set to hit Disney Plus this December. The first is a 6-episode docuseries titled The Eras Tour. The End of an Era offers fans a behind-the-scenes look at her record-breaking world tour. Alongside it, Swift will release The Eras Tour, the final show, a full-length concert film capturing her final tour since stop in Vancouver. The double release will feature cameos from fellow performers Travis Kelce, Ed Sheeran, and Sabrina Carpenter, and is already generating massive buzz online.
If you're a horror fan, streaming platforms have you covered this Halloween season. Netflix, Hulu, and other services are rolling out one of the biggest October horror lineups in recent memory. From vintage classics like Dracula and Night of the Living Dead to new originals like The Elixir. There's even a chilling documentary, My Father, the BTK Killer, exploring the story of serial murderers Dennis Rader through his daughter's perspective. Critics say 2025 is shaping up to be one of the most competitive years yet for horror streaming content.
It's hard to believe, but it's been more than 50 years since the Brady Bunch first hit television screens. Members of the original cast are reflecting on how their show shaped their lives. Maureen McCormick, Barry Williams, Eve Plum, Susan Olsen, and Mike Lookingland reunited recently for a nostalgic podcast special. McCormick has a memoir coming soon. Williams now hosts a podcast, and Lookingland has traded Hollywood for carpentry work. Their ongoing friendship is a reminder that even half a century later, America's favorite TV family is still very much alive in pop culture.
Coming up, Braden will have a look at this week's weather, and Emily will catch you up on the latest sports news. That's next, right here on RNN.
Taking a look outside of Raceland Worthington High School, we have bright blue skies, very windy as you can see right here. Now taking a look at our 3-day forecast. Thursday we have a high of 59 and a low of 36. Friday we have a high of 60 and a low of 34. And Saturday we have a high of 61 and a low of 41. Now for our weekly forecast. Sunday through Wednesday, we have partly cloudy. The high will be in the middle 60s, and lows will be mid 40s. Thursday through Saturday, rainy, highs of 60s and lows of 40s. I'm Braden Clifton. This is RNN.
2025 World Series begins Friday night as the Los Angeles Dodgers take on the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 1. The Dodgers come in after sweeping the Brewers in the NLCS, while Toronto advanced by outlasting Seattle in 7 games. Walker Buehler gets the start for LA, facing rookie standout Trey Savage, who dominated in the ALCS. First pitch is at 8 p.m. on Fox. Both clubs have deep rotations and power, setting up one of the most evenly matched World Series in recent years. In college football, a pair of top 25 showdowns headline this weekend as number 15 Missouri visits number 10 Vanderbilt and third-ranked Texas A&M heads on to number 20 LSU. The first college football playoff rankings will be released on Tuesday, November 4th, with the new 12-team format being introduced this season with no automatic byes given for conference champions. Ohio State remains the top team in the nation, with Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia rounding out the top 5. Over to the hardwood, as the NBA tipped off the 2025 to 2026 season with 2 headline games. The Oklahoma City Thunder edged the Houston Rockets 125 to 124 in a double overtime thriller. Later, the Golden State Warriors opened with a 119 to 109 win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Stephen Curry paced Golden State in a balanced effort as the Warriors pulled away late. The openers set the tone for what promises to be another high-energy, drama-filled NBA season. That's a check of sports. More from RNN when we return in just a minute.
All beta members, there will be a Christmas on the Square event on December 7th from 2 to 5 p.m. to promote Greenup County. Our clubs have been asked for 15 to 20 volunteers, meeting November 3rd at 4 at the Main Street venue across from the courthouse. If you need hours and want to make a difference, please sign up in Ms. Smith's room. Your help is greatly appreciated.
Remember that FCCLA will be selling iced coffees every day. Stop by and grab one, starting at just $4.
8th grade boys interested in middle school basketball, open gym tonight 6 to 7 p.m. in the middle school gym.
If you're interested in joining future problem solvers, check out the Google Classroom code posted outside room 124. Our first meeting is Wednesday the 22nd and will last about 30 minutes. See Ms. Rogers for details.
Thursday, October 30th, the city of Raceland will host its annual trunk or treat at 6 p.m. Sign up to decorate your car. The best decorated vehicle wins a prize.
Halloween costume contest will be held Friday, October 31st. $5 entry fee, $50 first place prize, and a 5-item school punch card, Miss Johnson or Miss Wilson. Second place, $25 punch card. Third place, $10. All costumes must be school appropriate. Sign up in Coach T. Mills's classroom by October 30th.
That'll do it for today's broadcast. Join us each Wednesday at 2:45 for the latest news, sports, and weather.
Be sure to follow our channel and scan the QR code on your screen to submit story ideas and announcements to RNN. Have a great week, everyone.